The true existence. Good question you asked that, and I'll give you the answer. I will give you the answer. In the Rig Veda, the astral levels are basically called the Devashanic plane. You can get the book, C.W. Ledbetter's books, the Devashanic plane, which is the astral levels. And although you can break the physical matrix, which wouldn't probably be so bad if you're in the physical, just to see through the bullshit. But just don't get hung up that you're still in a matrix. You understand? There's a book called Seeing Through the Physical World by June Singer. Which is not bad, I mean, to have the extra added, as long as your ass down, to have some little down so you can maneuver around this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Hell, if it just going to the next day and hitting them goddamn 3-digit lottery number or the fantasy 5 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We in a capitalistic society. Don't bullshit yourself. And basically that's what the yogis, or that's what the Africans used to do by manipulating the physical.
Get what you need.
By breaking through the physical matrix. But ultimately, because we're talking about, in those particular methods and science were put in place because we had a couple of thousands of years down here. But ultimately, it is explained that in the Rig Veda, one thing is promised to the devas, which is that shining light, which is really only a glimmer or a shadow of something that is past, which is only being still cast in our minds. That particular, in the Rig Veda it says, the ultimate solution for them of that particular universal matrix is, there's one thing that is their fate, death. Now, let me explain it on 2 levels. Which I have to get into what we're talking about here as far as the death that we're talking about here. The death that I'm talking about here is in the Upanishads. It says that in the beginning there was death. The energy, the ultimate energy that we are dealing with is illumination through putrefaction. We're talking about crystallizing a seed. The white people are talking about going up here and escaping and going different ways. They're either going to do it physically by going into this space station, or they're going to do it astrally. But it's still a form of still trying to hang on to this whatever part of the universe that they didn't conquer. You see what I'm saying? You see, they want to go there, but our thing is we're dealing with the Osirian energy, which is the god of death, which is dead elemental. You get where I'm coming from here? So, what is this death? Number one, is the Upanishad says, in the beginning, before anything existed, there was death. The Kabbalah, they show you before the light of Keva, which is basically the creation of what is called the world of appearances. They say that the Kabbalah says that the world of appearances, our world is created of several prior worlds, but you will see on the sphere of the Kabbalah, you'll see the word Ain, Ain Sarda Uda, and Ain Sarda. Well, Ain also represents I. The I is talking about the third eye, or the first eye, or basically the primal substance called melanin. So if in the beginning there was Ain, and in the Upanishad, in the beginning there was death, then what is melanin? Melanin is substance, a substance of death. It's inside of you. That's the shit that the vampires is talking about. That melanin is the death. Although it may seem dead in the physical world, it is only the dead dormant substance of the prior worlds, the pre-physical world, the pre-existing worlds. You understand what I'm saying? That later on was recycled to make this universe and later on shut up inside of us. You getting this?
You die out of here into life.
Huh?
You die out of here.
You die in, so on one aspect, what we call death is a living entity and a substance. It's called death in life, and that's what we're talking about. Now, we're not talking about necessarily killing yourself. We're talking about an alchemical process that's going to take place in your body. It's happening now. See, let me explain something because I always get this question in the lectures. You got to understand how the process works. If we're talking about a non-physical substance, then physical exercise ultimately cannot bring it about. Physical exercise can get you to physically exercise a certain method of the body to break through the physical matrix. But we're talking about the latent substance inside of your body has to be lined up by you just sitting down and trying to figure this shit out. See what I'm saying? Your figuring it out is the act.
Mental process.
It's a mental process. That's ultimately how the melanin lines up. It's a pre-physical substance. So therefore, ultimately, a physical act can't do it. The only physical act that we know that is really something that also was around in the beginning, that we know that actually coincides with it, is water. And like the brother said, we're not talking about sink water. Like I said, the whole thing on fluoride that'll kill you. But it's water. So we do know the water thing because we also know that that's the stuff that the government came with the damn sodas this summer to dehydrate the people. So we do know it's water on one aspect. The other aspect is, and I know this is hard because most people, we are trained physically to work for what we want in some type of physical manner. But even if we're dealing with stuff subconsciously, most of these books, Think and Grow Rich, it's nothing but a minute level of the same stuff I'm telling you. You can believe it, you can perceive it, you can believe, that, achieve it, and all that old shit. It's just Jackson shit. But what we're talking about here is, the Kabbalistic concept is the spear of Bina, which is Saturn. First of all, the key is this here. First of all, we need to break down one thing too. If we're not talking about the physical, then what would evil be outside of the physical? What would negative be outside of the physical? If the physical is an illusion, that very thing that is negative within the illusion has to be positive in the reality because it's reversed. Yeah. See what I'm coming from here? It's reversed. You get where I'm coming from? Remember I told you that the movie Ghostbusters 2? All that shit is put out by the government. Fuck the junk. You don't put shit on the cracker screen just running the shit. Not unless he wants you to put it on there. So that was put out by the government, excluding the Matrix. That the stuff that was breaking into the physical and taking over the physical on Ghostbusters 2 was all of this particular negative so-called energy of the people of New York.
Negative to them.
And this slime. So, moral religions of 2,000 years ago came in to shut down systems. And these particular civilization that is inside of us, they manifest and fester through high acts of aggression. And it not necessarily mean physical aggression, because it could just mean free thought. Because they tell you even in the Bible to even think of sin, it's just as bad.
Don't even think it.
Don't even think it.
Yeah.
So we're talking about, because we're not talking about a physical thing, although sometimes it takes a physical manifestation is nothing but the same aggression that starts, but we're talking about an aggression based on your thought process. You see what I'm saying? So, the religion, so we're talking about mental alchemy now, how you line up this particular stuff. The religion teaches you that you must calm down, be obedient, and basically, nothing that suggests, not even bright colors. Motherfucker, you can get killed wearing a red dress in damn Europe. Based on that religion shit got out of hand. You was a witch.
Set on fire.
Right. We're talking about, but at this particular point, because we're not necessarily talking about the physical aspect, we're talking about freeing your mind, because this is where the melanin is going. We're talking about everything